The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of either Spectrum Generations or Time Warner Cable. Mature Lifestyle is made possible by Hollywood Slots of Bangor, where every player's a star, and by Knowlton Hewins Roberts Funeral Homes and Cremation Service. Our homes are warm and welcoming, and we take care of you and your family like we would our own. Call us anytime. We are here for you.
Hello, welcome to Mature Lifestyles. Spectrum Generations is so pleased to bring exciting programming to you. Community Treasures is our theme today, and when you take a look at where we are, Lithgow Library in Augusta is one of many community treasures all around the state. And we have with us today two special guests who know this library inside and out. Betsy Pohl, who's the director, and her aide, her indispensable person, her right-hand person, I'm told, is Angela Dalbernier, who also worked in the Bangor Library, so knows what treasures these community buildings are. And if you look around in this building, it is extraordinary. And we have the mantle and the fireplace, all of the things that are here. This is a reading room, isn't it?
It is.
Betsy, tell me about this room, and is it used for the community?
Well, it is. It's been in pretty much this. It looks just like it did in 1896 when the library opened.
It's got the statuary around and the ornate designs, but it's vibrant and living. And
it is.
What's the last thing you had in here?
I think we had an author visit the other night about natural places in Maine, I believe.
So you bring in a living author who
yes.
talks to the community about the book.
Right.
All right. So tell me a little more. You have been in this business for some time. Tell me about you. You went to Bates.
I did.
And you got a master's degree in library science.
Yep.
And I believe you were very close to another librarian in the state. Would you like to share that information?
My husband is a librarian at the Maine State Library.
How wonderful.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about libraries today. I noticed when I come in to the libraries, it's not like I remember as a high school student when you couldn't talk. You couldn't do very much. So how have they changed, and how have you been a part of that?
Well, libraries are vibrant, dynamic places to be in the community. This is where everyone meets, all ages, all abilities, all economic strata. And we offer a variety of programs and services for free for people. We have concerts and programs and author visits, book discussions. We also have circulating collections, of course, but people come to the library for a variety of reasons, and far from killing off the library, the computer and the internet has actually sparked a great deal more interest because
is that right?
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by everything that comes at you when you're on the internet. And our job is very similar to in 1896 when we opened, in that we are helping people find the right thing for them.
And in spite of, and we're going to come to you, Angela, because not only are you an expert in adult programming, but I believe you're going to be talking to us about eBooks later. So, but people still want the library. The computer hasn't replaced our need to hold a book, has it? No. So tell us a little bit about your work in adult programming.
In adult programming, I help with the author events. I lead book discussion groups. I'm one of many that help schedule adult programming here at Lithgow Library.
You're a pioneer in leading these book discussions, but you've just completed a statewide book club. Talk to us about that. What did you do, and how did you get people to participate?
Well, people seem to like suggestions about what to read, and they seem to think that we're experts at that somehow.
And you are.
We try to be. So yes, it's important to use books as a way of discussing ideas. And whether it's fiction or nonfiction, it's good to get good books into the hands of people and then provide an opportunity for them to discuss the ideas amongst themselves. Library is the perfect place to do it. It's neutral ground. people trust us for that reason. We not really have any particular axe to grind, but we just want the exchange of ideas to occur.
I remember years past you celebrated Martha Ballard, who had been a midwife at the turn of the century, and so everybody read that?
Yep, we've done a number of things that we've referred to as a capital read, and it was an annual event for a number of years. We hope to do it again in 2012. We've read things like Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods, Linda Greenlaw's The Lobster Chronicles.
So there are a lot of great Maine writers who are happy to come and talk here.
Yep, and we try to
help. And do you
stream
stream that to other libraries? Is that something you're capable of doing yet, or is something you're working toward?
We're not capable of doing it yet, and again, like many things, it's because of the constraints of our facility.
Well, other libraries, I'm sure, are doing similar things. If you live in a different area, you could go to your local community treasure, if you will, and participate in these book clubs. I know one of the things that I read about you're doing was celebrating Mystery Week or month. With tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've done that for 3 years now. In the month of October, we invite Maine crime writers to come and we really celebrate that format because there seem to be a lot of mystery and crime writers in Maine, and they're very, very good.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe
we have Stephen King too.
People's imaginations run wild, I think, sometimes in Maine winters, and I think Maine is a great place to be creative, and that's why we have a lot of writers who choose Maine as their home.
Why did you choose to become a librarian?
Wow.
Marion the librarian, I think of in The Music Man.
Well, it wasn't quite like that, without the singing and dancing, but
of course. You might do that as well. I've seen you with carts in the 4th of July parade in Augusta, library carts, so I know you have a sense of humor.
You have to have a sense of humor in public libraries. You really, really do. I got into the field because I enjoyed being in the library. I actually started as a cataloger. Which, if people know me, they have a hard time squaring that with my personality. But I really enjoyed the bibliographic information and making things accessible for people. And it was later in my career, I worked in a law library, that I really had much more to do with the public and found that I enjoyed that very much as well. So I started my career in Massachusetts, and I came here just over 20 years ago and fell in love with this room and this building and the people in the community. I like to be a facilitator for discussions, for events, for people connecting with each other, and for people in general improving their life by using the public library. So
because that knowledge is there.
Yes.
And it's available to anyone, isn't it?
It is.
In any community. Do you have to live in the town to use the library?
Well, in Maine, we don't have any state aid to public libraries. So unfortunately, in our case, we are dependent on local taxpayers to support our operations. We're part of city government. Other libraries may be private nonprofits.
It depends.
Yes, but in our case, we are part of city government, and that's where our funding comes from. So Augusta residents get a library card for free, and people who don't live in Augusta can pay to borrow items. In other words, a non-resident
fee. It's a small fee,
yeah,
but it's really open to everybody.
Yes.
Open to everybody.
Anybody can come to our programs, and they do.
Yes. And tell me a little bit more. You do the newsletter? I didn't know libraries had newsletters. Tell me about that.
I put one out each month. It lists all the upcoming programs that we have going on.
And you have a lot of things for kids, I believe.
Very much
something's
so.
going on as we speak.
Exactly. The current newsletter that I'm working on is mostly children's programs that are coming up in the next month.
And what kind of programming does the library do for children? If we wanted to bring our grandchildren, for example, to the library, what's here?
Perfect.
They do Lego programs, that's relatively new, family story time. They do book discussion group for preteens and teens.
Craft afternoons.
Right.
Plus infant, toddler, and family story times.
And a food for thought, cooking.
What's your favorite activity here at the library? Is there such a thing? Or do you like it all?
Well, for me, I find it particularly exciting when we have an author that comes and we have an event that's well attended, and the exchange of ideas that takes place, and the contact with an author that really excites people.
As you know, as we age, and I can say this, I always need my glasses to read. Are there books in large print here too, if you needed that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because we recently received a grant to enhance our services to older adults.
Oh, good.
It was cleverly titled For Mature Audiences
I like
Only.
this. This is mature lifestyles, you know.
And through the generosity of the Davis Family Foundation, we received a grant of $6,000 to kind of beef up our offerings in that area.
Wonderful.
So we've enhanced our large print book collection, which is already pretty healthy, and we have been able to enhance our audiobook collection,
Yes.
audiobooks on CD.
Right.
We also purchased 2 Nooks and loaded them with some
Now,
eBooks.
for my viewers who may not know, what is a Nook? Are we in a Nook?
A Nook is a device
Yes.
that will read eBooks, and there
Okay.
are several different kinds.
And an ebook is, I don't actually hold the book.
You don't.
But it's on my Nook,
Yes.
my device.
I could hand you a physical book
Yes.
and suggest that you read it, and you could take it and read it.
Yes.
With electronic material, it's a little different. It's more of a licensing arrangement instead of an ownership arrangement.
Okay.
And with a book, you have the container and the content is all in one piece. With eBooks, it's a little trickier to describe because
Okay.
you're dealing with a digital file and a device that
All
will
right.
read that.
But we're going to learn more about that
We
from
are.
Angela
Yes.
soon. But that's not threatening to you, is it?
Not
As
at
a
all.
person who has had a library that's always been stocked with books that we're all accustomed to, you welcome that.
Absolutely. I think the main thing is people are reading, and that's the point.
That's what your goal is. But it's not too hard for a person who's perhaps not computer savvy. Older people didn't grow up with the iPhones and all the
That's
things
right.
like my grandchildren do, but it's not too hard for them.
It's not too hard. We have people who come in the library for one-on-one computer classes if they're really
Okay.
having a problem getting
Actually,
connected.
it is a place, if you don't own a computer,
Yes.
that you can go to access the computer. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
Yes, we have public computers, not nearly enough for the
No,
demand.
but people use the library for that as well.
Yes, they do. Very, very much so. Because now, particularly in the economic downturn, people are looking for jobs. How do they find them? How do they apply for them? Almost everything is online now, and if you don't
Yes.
have that skill and that practice, they come to us and we help them with that.
So you help them. There's a person here
As
who
much
can
as we
help
possibly
you, if you
can.
could.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that your staff is not that big,
Right.
But at the same time, if it's available, you will help a person look for a job or look for some information on a school project, I'm
Yes,
sure, as
of
well.
course, of course.
Do students still come in and do research
They
here
do.
for their school
Yes.
projects?
Absolutely,
Yes.
they do. Yes, because oftentimes their school libraries aren't open after the school day is finished.
And in terms of these community treasures, they're not, this has taken away boundaries. Do you share books with Bangor and Augusta and Rockland
We do.
and Portland? Yes.
We do.
So if I wanted a book that's really special to me and you don't have it, you might be able to borrow it from another library.
Almost certainly we would be able to borrow it for
Wow.
you. Yes.
And I think you're right, people do like suggestions for good reads. And is that in your newsletter too? Do you often suggest books that are sort of, not just with the author coming?
We do staff picks.
Staff
Several
picks.
times throughout
Ah.
the year, we'll do staff picks,
Yes.
books that we've read recently that we enjoy, and we just want to recommend them to patrons. A lot of patrons will come in and ask.
And do you find that the traffic picks up after you have picked a
Yes.
book? Yes.
The
What's
whole
the
score.
staff pick recently? So a couple of them. Do you remember any of them?
Well, I don't
Or
know.
what are
if
you
we've done-
reading? Maybe I should ask you that. What are you
Okay.
reading right now?
I am currently reading a Louise Penny mystery called The Brutal Telling. It's a series of mystery books written by a woman who lives in south of Montreal. And the books all take place in the eastern townships of Quebec. So I'm familiar with that area, and I
And
really
you wanted to read that.
and
How
that's
about
good.
you? What are you reading?
I read A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness.
Oh, we are getting ready for a mystery.
It's a debut novel that focuses on
good.
the relationship between a witch and a vampire, and there's a lot of history and mystery behind it, and it's not just your typical paranormal
Right.
book, but it's got a lot of everything. It's one of the books I'm going to do a discussion on for the public
So
in the near
this
future.
discussion group is always helpful. I hate to stop now. We're in the middle of some great book discussions, but please stay tuned because we're going to learn a lot more about how you too can access electronic books. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
There's no place like Hollywood. From the newest slots to blockbuster jackpots and all the excitement you can handle. This is where you're in the spotlight. You're the star. A place where the action never stops and the night is always young. Hollywood, the name says it all.
Spectrum Generations. Live healthy, live well. Get answers, get connected. Spectrum Generations, specializing in the art of aging.
Life should be celebrated. It's a special day when family and friends gather together to celebrate the life of a loved one. A celebration of life helps us honor our loved one and keep our memories alive. Whether you're planning a traditional funeral, a creative celebration of life, or a blend of both, at Knowlton Hewins Roberts, we are truly committed to meet the personal and unique needs of you and your family. Knowlton Hewins Roberts. Visit us online or visit our 2 locations in Augusta and Winthrop.
Hello and welcome back to Mature Lifestyles. We've been having an exciting discussion about how libraries have changed and yet they're still the anchor of our communities and they give us all kinds of services. But now we're going to use our experts, Betsy and Angela, to help us know there's even a new service that we can all take advantage of because they're going to walk us through how you can check out a book and read it on a Nook. And I've just learned what a Nook was, and they're helping us with that. So Betsy and Angela, help. I am an older person. I want this Nook, and I want to be able to check out books. Tell me how it works. How would I get online and get that book I'm dying to read?
Well, one of the first things you'll want to do is make sure that your library is a subscriber to the main Infonet download library.
Main Infonet, and are lots of libraries that?
Yes.
Okay, so you just go find out that. Go ahead.
Right, I think there's over 100 libraries in Maine that subscribe to this.
Wonderful.
And we just happen to be one of them.
You're one.
So somebody would need to go to their library, make sure they are a member of this service, get a library card if they don't have one.
So you need a library card for this, but that's also good for your hard books as well as the eBooks, all right?
And once you have a library card, you would go to the library website. In our case, for the purposes
of... So I can sit in my living room, go to the library website.
Right, for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll use the Lithgow Library website and the device that we have handy, which is a Nook. But it's important to know that this service supports a variety of devices. So just for this demo, we're going to be saying it's a Nook.
But you're not limited to that. It's
not
open to anything that is a reader, if you will, an e-reader.
In fact, Kindles are the most popular device, and for a long time this service did not support the use of Kindles.
But it does now.
But it does now. That's a recent development.
So I've got a card, I've got a device, and now what?
And you need to have your computer.
A computer.
That's right.
And the thing that you need to do first before you can check out any books is you have to download the software that is compatible with your e-reader. For Nook, it's Adobe Digital Editions, and it's different. You would just need to go to the library's website, as Betsy said. You would click on the download library, and they have this feature that is called My Beta Help. And when you click on that, you choose what device you have, whether it's a Kindle or a Nook, and it would show you the steps to download this software. And we've discovered that you need to provide an email address, whether it's the Nook or the Kindle. Adobe requires an email, and the Kindle makes you go through Amazon. You need an Amazon account. So we've discovered that the software that you need to download, you have to provide an email, so you might want to get that set up as well if you don't have one.
But the website of the library would help walk me through those steps.
Yes, exactly. And that's a one-time thing. Once you have the software downloaded, which is the
just
tricky part, then you're golden. You can move to checking out the eBooks.
All right. So I've downloaded my software. Now what do I do?
You would need to choose a book, and that actually takes longer than checking it out. You would search by titles or authors, see what's available, and as you're scrolling, after you type in your title, you want to make sure that it's compatible with your device and that it shows add to cart. And once you click on Add to Cart, you would be prompted to choose what library you have your valid library card with. And then after you click on your library,
Can I back you up for just
Yes.
a moment? Is there, I don't know what I want to read today, but I know I love to read nonfiction. I really love that. Is there a menu, if you will, or the suggestions
yes, you
there?
can search.
So I
Yes.
can search.
Yes.
I don't know the author's name, I don't know the title, but I just want something in that field.
Yes.
And
So
you
I could
can
do
browse.
that.
You
I
can browse what's
okay.
available and
But then
see
when
what
I
appeals.
find it, then I add it to my cart.
You would
Okay.
add it to, first you have to sign in. So
Sign in.
make sure that you have your library card handy because it's
Yes.
going to ask you for all those numbers.
Yes.
And then you would add it to your cart.
Mm-hmm.
And if it says place a hold, that just means that somebody else has checked out that ebook, like they can check
Okay.
out a physical book. You would place a hold on it, and then when it's available for you, that email you provided,
They will let you know.
They'll let you know, and a link will be in the email, which will take you directly to the downloadable library where you can check it out.
Great.
So after you add it to your cart, you're given a choice of 7 days or 14 days to check it out. You confirm the checkout, and then you download it and open it, and it goes directly to the software that we downloaded a few minutes prior.
Right, right.
Adobe Digital Editions for
That
the Nook.
one-time download, I'm all set.
Exactly. And once it's in the software, you would plug in your Nook.
Or whatever device you happen to
Exactly.
be using.
Right, right.
Exactly. And you'll see the icon appear to your left for your device. And you'll also see that your library of all the ebooks that you have checked out. It's a simple case of you click on the title, you click, and you'll see a red X. And when you drag over to the icon for your e-reader, it should change to a green plus
Green
to
means
show you
go.
that it's been transferred to your reading device.
And so instantly, really, I can open my Nook or device and the book is there.
And
that
you're
I
ready to read.
Ready to read.
Yes.
Wow. And is there a limited number of books that are available like this, or is the entire library available to me?
Well, it's not the same as our physical library here, but it's
Yes.
a virtual collection that exists for the folks who subscribe to the libraries
Yes.
that subscribe to this. I think there's probably 2,000 or more titles at this
That
point.
could keep us going for
I
a
think
while.
so, and they're always adding more.
And it's in every genre, from biography to fiction to mystery. Everything
Yes,
is there.
yes.
Are there children's books? Are there age differentials yet, or are that
Not so
ahead of
much.
us?
There
Not
are
yet.
books for teens that are available, and I should mention through this same service there are downloadable audiobooks that you can download
Oh.
to your MP3 player, iPod, or even phone. So we didn't focus on that
No,
so
I
much during this
understand,
demo,
but the options are unlimited.
there are
aren't they?
many
I mean, I
options.
think I really appreciate, and I know our viewers will appreciate too. You're walking us through this. It's not a mystery. It's not that hard. I look at my 3-year-old grandson who asked to play with his mom's iPhone. That's his favorite toy. But I mean, technology is just so natural to them.
Yes.
Some of us who started later in life, it's a little bit frightening at first, but it shouldn't be. It makes the world open up to us. We never have to leave the house if we don't want to. We can just read any book. Of course, we like to leave the house, but I'm just saying the treasures are there,
Yes.
and you're making it very easy for everybody.
And you know, if anyone has a problem using this service, just call. You know, I know that here at our library, we're happy to help people either over the phone or in person.
Yeah, service seems like a very important part for both of you. You
That's
want
it.
library people to use the libraries. You want them to use it in any way they're comfortable, and it sounds like you're always there to help.
We try to be.
From recommending books to helping us through a process which might be different and new to us.
Right.
But it's only going to grow, isn't it?
I think so.
And I think there was a time when people feared, oh my, if all the books are on electronic, what's going to happen to those books we love to hold? Is there any threat there?
I don't know. I think we're still at the beginning of this curve.
Yeah.
It'll be difficult, you know, it's difficult to predict because things change so quickly. But I think there'll always be people who want to hold a physical item
Yes.
and want to read something
think
and
I may be
not
one of
worry
those
about batteries.
sometimes. And I know this is good for travel too.
Perfect,
Some have
yes.
talked about if you're going on an airplane trip, you can get anybody. I hate to stop with this. It is fascinating. I can't wait to get a Nook or a Kindle and read with you. Thank you very much. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
Spectrum Generations. Live healthy. Live well. Get answers. Get connected. Spectrum Generations. Specializing in the art of aging.
There's no place like Hollywood. From the newest slots to blockbuster jackpots and all the excitement you can handle. This is where you're in the spotlight. You're the star. A place where the action never stops and the night is always young. Hollywood, the name says it all.
Welcome back to Mature Lifestyles. I've been so honored to sit with Betsy Pohl today. I'm sitting in her living room, our living room. This room is absolutely beautiful. And the mantle I see behind me, Betsy, if I may say, is so important to Betsy. She got married in this room.
I did.
But Betsy, all kinds of things happen in this room, in this community treasure. Tell us about music, book clubs, what's happening in here?
We have concerts, we have author visits, we have lectures, we have informational programs, craft programs, children's programs. Actually, one of the needs that we have is for a space for programs that won't displace folks who are actually here to read the newspaper or whatever.
Right. You have this beautiful space.
We do.
But you don't have enough space.
No.
Because of demand. Tell me about the community. They really want to come to the library.
We have difficulty providing the level of service that we would like to provide because of the constraints of our facility.
Right.
We have the original building that opened in 1896 where we sit now. We have a small 1979 edition. And we've outgrown it, and technology has come about since all this happened. So the needs are great for all kinds of space.
And as we've talked about technology, it certainly hasn't diminished the demand for use of the library itself.
Library usage is up for a variety of reasons, for a variety of usage.
So are you planning an expansion?
We are. It's been in the planning stages for 15 years, but we're really getting it off the ground now.
Tell us more about that.
Sure. We have a proposed expansion that would be somewhere between $8 and $9 million. And it's a public-private partnership between the City of Augusta and the Friends of Lithgow Library. The Friends is a nonprofit community organization that is leading the capital campaign.
And when you are successful with that, what will we see different here?
You will see bigger and better space for children and families. That's part of what we do. It's a big part of what we do. More than a third of our business has to do with children. More space for collections, places for people to meet and discuss, for literacy tutors. We'll have much more appropriate space for technology and more access, which is the most important thing. Right now, we're limited to 8 computers due to space.
But the demand is greater.
The demand is great, and for a population our size, we really should have 30 to 40.
Oh my.
Yeah, so we're really very much behind in terms of what we should be doing, and we're hoping that we can do much better for our community when we have the physical space that we need.
Well, you're clearly treasured by your community, and we hate to leave this wonderful community setting. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Lithgow. Thank you to all the libraries around the state that make such a special place for our seniors and our children, all ages. Thank you for joining us on Mature Lifestyle.
Mature Lifestyle is made possible by Hollywood Slots of Bangor, where every player's a star, and by Knowlton Hewins Roberts Funeral Homes and Cremation Service. Our homes are warm and welcoming, and we take care of you and your family like we would our own. Call us anytime. We are here for you.
You're watching TWC TV, only on Time Warner Cable.